Okay, it's because people don't like to take responsibility for their actions. Yes, ma'am?
So I was talking with Law&Crime, and they like what we're doing here on the personal channel. So we're going to go back in time, and we're going to see exactly where Fridays with Frank started.
Hey folks, Pinal County Sheriff Mark Lamb here.
I know that guy.
I'm going to talk to you about a law that's been on the books for almost 2 years now. But what's important to know is that as of January 1st, you can now be cited for this law. And it's the texting and driving, distracted driving law. Now we're going to go out and pull some traffic stops. Now, I probably won't write any tickets.
No.
But I can't speak for my deputies. They may not be so kind.
Doesn't matter what you were doing. The fact of the matter is, you're driving down the road, you have both hands on your phone.
I'm just gonna get happy.
In 2023 was the first time that we put a video out on my personal channel. This was the first video, and I haven't watched this since then. So we're gonna go back in time. I'm gonna check it out, see what we think about this.
I don't like being so mean.
I don't believe mean is the word for me. Possibly direct or empatheticless.
Yeah, not empathetic at all. Why?
If you grabbed your phone right now and grabbed the Merriam-Webster's dictionary and looked up empatheticless, you're not going to find it in there. It's a Frank Sloup word. So sometimes I just make words up because I needed to embrace the situation that I was at and find the perfect word. It didn't exist in my vocabulary, so I kind of made it up. So empatheticless is in there, and I felt at the time that word perfectly embodied my contact with this woman.
You're supposed to protect us.
By changing your behavior of driving while distracted, that's protecting every driver on this road, including the 2 babies that you have back there.
Gotcha.
That's how I protect people, is
Fight that logic.
dangerous behavior.
When this originally happened, this was the first time my cameraman and I had ever ridden together. Fridays with Frank wasn't a thing at this point. It was just like a PSA about texting and driving. So we had no idea if this was going to go on the internet, if they'd let us put this out. The cameraman just made it and sent it to the command staff and let them make the decision. And ultimately, they put it on, and this was the very beginning of Fridays with Frank.
So what we got here is we got a guy that's actually using 2 hands.
Sheriff Lamb has such happy music.
And in the left lane.
You can actually get a ticket for it now. I'm still going to give you a warning today. Just make sure you're watching what you're doing. All right?
So nice. One of my sad music. So the cameraman who makes these videos wanted there to be a contrast between Sheriff Lamb giving warnings and me not giving warnings. So you'll notice that there's a difference in music between Sheriff Lamb's happy music and my very sad, sad panda violin music. So if you take a listen, you'll realize the difference.
Traffic enforcement.
Sad panda.
No, ma'am, I don't believe any of this is rude. 19 years, ma'am. 19 years.
Wow, it was a long time ago.
And I can see why.
Okay, it's because people don't like to take responsibility for their actions. Yes, ma'am?
First
Happy music.
violation is $75 to $150. Second is $150 to $250 fine.
Okay.
So,
Understand.
all right?
All right.
We'll cut you a break today.
You will notice that throughout this video, Sheriff Lamb only gives warnings. That's not only for this video. It's all he ever did. He was not a big traffic enforcement guy. Giving tickets wasn't his thing. He left that to me. So I gave enough tickets for the both of us, and he could give all the warnings that he wanted because he was the boss, so he could do what he wants. He's so nice.
Warnings has come and gone, and now it's time to write tickets and change people's behavior. That is my job here within the sheriff's office as primarily a traffic-focused deputy to change behavior.
Absolutely true.
Mainly by the issuance of citations. Pioneer Justice Court's located right down on Hunt Highway. We respond every single day to collisions.
Look at all those violations.
In Santan Valley. That would very easily be avoided if people could just put their phones down. The fact that you are holding it in your hand as you're driving down the road is what meets the requirement. You can't mess around with your phone while you're driving. He said he was listening to a song. It doesn't matter what he was doing.
Doesn't matter what.
I am. Right now, it's time for you to take responsibility for what you do. I don't deal with burglars. I don't deal with thefts or shoplifters.
She's crying and she says that her grandmother died of COVID and she's having all of this because we're closer to the COVID times than we are now. Still, her conduct was not only unbecoming, but pretty pathetic. So it definitely needed to be highlighted in this video. That's why she is the longest portion of this video is focused on her, because her conduct was so outlandish that the cameraman just had to highlight it.
I am right here. That right there is your citation, ma'am.
Not kind at all.
Okay, well, I'm sorry you feel that way. Please drive safely.
We had no idea if we were ever going to ride again. This was just his assignment. My assignment was for us to get together, put this video out. That's the end of it. We had no idea the monster that we were creating and what it would turn into at this time. This was just a one and done. Just, hey, jump in, make a video, and let that be the end of it. And then it's turned into this.
Hey folks, Sheriff Lamb here. So today we are following some buses, making sure that people are obeying all the laws as they pertain to the school buses and our roadways.
Well, I'm Deputy Sloup. I work for the Pinal County Sheriff's Office Traffic Unit. And the reason I stopped you is that school bus there that had the red sign out that said stop.
And you just drive right by.
You just stop so that children can cross the road.
Fast forward 3 months to when we made this video. It's not every week. It's not every Friday with Frank. So a little bit later on, we're still not even into the Fridays with Frank era. But they wanted to put a video out about school bus safety. Another PSA. So Sam called the traffic sergeant. Traffic sergeant volunteered me to ride along with cameraman. Away we go.
Can I see your driver's license, please? Why don't you have a license? Why? Why not? One of the biggest issues in not having a driver's license is that you don't learn these rules of the road, like when there's a school bus stop.
You have to stop.
With a sign and says stop and flashing lights that you have to stop. But if you don't have a driver's license, then you've never been taught that. These kids are used to, and they know that cars have to stop for them. And just if you watch as we sat behind the last bus, and you watch kids, they very seldom walk either way. They're talking to their friends. They're doing anything else
but looking both ways.
Looking because they just expect that cars are going to stop because it's required by law. So she's getting a citation. Yeah. The first thing is for failing to stop for the school bus with the sign out. The second one is for not having a driver's license.
Need one.
Do you have a driver's license?
I do. Of course he did.
Can I see it?
Yeah, of course.
Okay, no more driving. You don't have a license here.
Thank you.
Oh, don't thank me. All right. All right. Are you son?
Yeah.
Is this your car, right?
Oh, yeah.
Registered to you? Okay. Stop letting her drive.
We only found one violator as far as the cameraman and I when we were riding together. But that stop, coupled with some other stops that we made together, and the first time that we had ridden together, the wheels in the cameraman's head started to turn about creating something that was later called Fridays with Frank, but creating a kind of almost a weekly PSA about traffic enforcement. So this is the seed that was planted, was in the last video and this video, and that's really what started it.
She doesn't have a driver's license. She cannot drive.
Yeah.
Okay? You are incredibly lucky that I'm not taking your car. Go take care of that. You got it, man. Have a better day.
So we're behind, I think, our 4th or 5th bus this morning. It's getting these kids on there. Fortunately, we haven't seen any violators today. That's a good thing. But we just want to remind people, please be safe around the school buses and follow all the rules. God bless.
Out of the pair of Deputy Sloup and Sheriff Lamb, I am the ticket writer. Even if he would have seen a violation and stopped that violator, I would say 9,999 times out of 10,000, he's going to give that person a warning. So unless I was close, he would have called me and I would have wrote the ticket. He still wouldn't have written it.
Arizona law says left lane is for passing.
The music's kind of goofy. The font that says Fridays with Frank in red, white, and blue is Comic Sans. The cameraman picked that out, so it was kind of goofy, you know, kind of tongue-in-cheek, kind of like some of my contacts are. So this whole thing was all kind of I can't say it was a joke, but it was certainly, we weren't taking ourselves too seriously with it. And now it's turned into something big, and we still keep all of that because it follows with the brand. But this all started as just kind of us having some fun.
I've been behind this guy for well over a mile. I'm going to have a little educational talk with him about this. When you're doing the speed limit and there is a place to move to the right, in the right lane, that's why there's 2 lanes, you are to drive in the right at the speed limit. The left lane, per Arizona state law, is for passing.
It's for speeders.
And you weren't passing, you're just there doing the speed limit, backing up traffic.
So here's the timeline. In February of 2021, the very first video with the crazy lady in the minivan, that comes out. So 3 months later, we're in May. In May, we kick out the school bus video. Now from May, we went all the way till November until this video came out. So 6 months later, after the school bus, the cameraman went through the process, started his philosophy of, hey, I want to start this, pitched it to the bosses. The bosses said yes. In November, the pilot for Fridays with Frank kicks out. So this is what this is. So even though it's the 3rd video that me and the cameraman made together, this is the actual first episode that was called Fridays with Frank. And it was short. It was 2 minutes and 20 seconds long. So nowhere near as long as what we would eventually build up to. But this is where it all started.
Went by me at 76 and a 45.
Oh.
You know what the speed limit is on Hunt Highway?
No,
Okay. You think that might be a problem when you're driving on the road?
wasn't even paying attention.
All right. Well, the posted speed limit's 45, and you went a blazing 76 miles an hour.
76.
Locked in on radar. I think 31 is fairly deserving of a citation. You meet the threshold for criminal speed. You're in excess of 21 miles an hour over the speed limit. The sheriff and the state of Arizona give me the discretion whether to cite you criminally, which means that I place you under arrest, I place you in handcuffs, I tow your car, I book you into jail. You learn the lesson of, hey, maybe you shouldn't speed that much.
That's how you learn a lesson.
I could issue you the citation, you take care of it, you go to driving school, you just understand that 31 miles an hour over is probably pretty unacceptable, and you just don't do it again. Does that seem fair? Okay.
I like it.
I went with option 2, so you don't have to go to jail.
Thank you.
Fair enough. Look at this speeder.
So we're driving through traffic, and obviously traffic's pretty heavy right now. And this guy blows my doors off at 69 and a 45.
Good stop.
It's a lane change without signaling, and he is tailgating the guy in front of me. And there's another lane change without signaling.
We'll stop that guy.
So now we're going to have a talk with him.
Outstanding.
Why lane changing without signaling and speeding is bad. You blew
Got
the
it.
doors off in traffic there. Your top speed was 69 miles an hour, posted speed limit 45 miles per hour.
Oh.
And both of the lane changes you made, both to the left and to the right, weren't using your turn signal. That's required by Arizona law. He just didn't realize he was going that fast. And that's what
The clue is when you're passing vehicles.
And yeah. Questions I can answer for you right now.
Oh, sir, thank you for your professionalism.
I appreciate that. Thank you. Thanks for wearing your seatbelt. Just slow down a little bit, all right? Drive safely, my friend.
At this point in my career, I have about 19 years on the job. I was not looking to be on the internet. None of this was Frank's idea. This was all the cameraman's idea to use Frank, which is ultimately what happened, is he pitched it to Sheriff Lamb. Sheriff Lamb said, yeah. And then I pretty much went along with it because Sheriff Lamb said that he wanted it done. But none of this has to do with me. None of this is Frank's idea. So that was the beginning. But the beginning happened on the cameraman's idea and me pretty much being voluntold.
This is a vehicle, sounds like a truck that was stolen out of Chandler. Sounds like it was taken into the desert and at least partially.
I remember this one.
And then just left there.
Got good drone footage.
Well, I appreciate that. Okay. All right, man. I'm heading in your direction. I appreciate it.
It's the Wild West, buddy.
Yeah, buddy. I know. I got one. Thanks, man.
You go down there and cross the creek. There's one little sandy spot, but if you get hung up there, it won't be no big deal to get you out.
All right. So apparently we're going to go driving dirt roads in the Charger today. Remember how we just got
That's weird.
our cleaned?
If your vehicle is going to be on the internet, you got to have it clean. So we had just washed my car. This was, just a normal day out on patrol. I try to wash my car as much as I can to keep it clean. And very shortly after getting it washed, I get dispatched to this stolen vehicle recovery out in the desert, way down some dirt road. And obviously, you could see the kind of area that we're in. My car doesn't take it well.
Holy cow. Man, this thing's been here for a minute. Whew. Oh, it's a good spot to strip it, because no one's gonna stumble on you out here.
Well, they've had beer, you know, they've had a nice...
Oh yeah, I was looking at this. They got a couple.
Well, they've had a good time out here.
I'm drinking Becks.
We're moving some brush there that was cut to cover up the path that the stolen vehicle was brought in on.
In the process of moving this brush so we could identify a path for the tow truck to come in, Sam tells me, hey, watch out. As you're dragging brush, there's going to be rattlesnakes in here. And I kind of dismissed him. And then I drag a piece of Palo Verde and I find a sleeping rattlesnake. So, cameraman 1, Frank 0 on that one.
Hey, buddy. Frank moved a piece of the brush, which is that piece right there, that piece of Palo Verde. And that little snake is just sleeping there, right in the shade.
There's a lot of myths about rattlesnakes. One of the biggest ones is that they will always rattle before they strike. That was not the case here. This guy didn't rattle one bit. Now, he was watching me and he was coiled up like he was going to strike at me. He didn't rattle at all. I dragged that brush away and he was there. If I would have gotten a little closer, he would have snapped at me. So just so you know, for those of you that don't live in the Sonoran Southwest and don't deal with snakes all the time, rattlesnakes don't always rattle. It's a fact. And I almost stepped on them.
We guided the tow truck all the way back.
Look how dirty my car is.
Figure out the logistics of how they're going to remove this stolen box truck. And that's a tow truck issue. I'm going to fill out what we call a vehicle report or a tow sheet that just pretty much transfers that from my possession into his possession, and I'm going to go wash my car. Not to the left.
I remember this one.
The original stop was for using his cell phone as he's driving down the road. He's messing around with his cell phone.
The cameraman's philosophy on the Fridays with Frank series was to get at least 3 videos out. So 3 weeks in a row, 3 Fridays, 3 videos. So this is the 3rd video of the initial series, the 3-part series of Fridays with Frank. So that's where this started.
So I illuminated my lights and siren, and he pulls into the left turn lane instead of pulling to the right, parallel to the rightmost curb, which is required by Arizona law. So now we're still here in this left turn lane. You don't pull to the left, you pull to the right, parallel to the rightmost curb and remain stopped. That's what Arizona law says.
Super easy.
This doesn't help anyone.
This video was put out on November 19th of 2021. But the video was shot way earlier that year, in the first little texting and driving time that we did. So sometime in like January, February area. So Sam had kept this video, and because he liked it, liked the contact, and kept it from earlier on the year, put it out on November 19th. So this was video number 3. Even though it was part of the series, it was shot much earlier.
That feel kind of weird sitting there in that left turn lane for 2 cycles of the light? Yeah, it's because you're not supposed to do that.
One of the biggest complaints that the cameraman says the sheriff's office receives is that the videos are too short. So this video was 1 minute and 6 seconds long. If we were to put out a 1 minute and 6 second long video now, the internet would be in an uproar.
You're supposed to pull right parallel to the rightmost curb. See your driver's license, please.
The next video that comes out after November 19th is December 13th, 4 whole weeks later. We were out of content. We had no idea about, video schedules or, having the cameraman ride with me. So he was out of content. So it took 4 weeks for them to put enough videos together that were interesting enough that they could put out another video. So very different than the way that we do things now. But there was a 4-week lull between episode 3 from the original 3-part series to episode 4. And we didn't know if there was going to be an episode 5.
So I'm Deputy Sloup. I work for the Pinal County Sheriff's Office Traffic Unit. The reason I stopped you is you're driving down the road messing around on your phone, which is illegal. And then you made an illegal turning movement here into the left turn lane, which also is illegal. See, current proof of insurance and your registration for your vehicle.
Some people. We just kept getting better. Videos got longer. Editing techniques changed. Traffic is always the same. It's always what it is. But this is where everything came from. So check out these seeds. They grow into something pretty cool.